No. Hi, good morning. Please have a seat.
Thank you so much. Hi.
Okay, so before we begin, I would like to tell you two important aspects of counseling. First is informed consent, and second is confidentiality. So I will just go over with you with the informed consent and what you can expect from this session. So let me know if I'm going too quickly. You can stop me and ask me if you have any questions. So we'll talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So typically, our session lasts between 45 to 50 minutes. The frequency of each session of this session, whether once or twice a week, it depends on your specific needs and how the intake process progresses. Okay, this can continue for a length of a few months to a few weeks to few months. Okay, but typically we don't engage in long-term therapy. So if any time in the session I feel like you require a higher care of need, I will help facilitate a referral to an appropriate provider. Okay. Now moving on to the cancellation policy. So emergencies can happen to anyone at any time, but what I need from you is to inform me ahead of time and be responsible and notify me at least 24 hours before our session so we can reschedule from there. Okay. Then now moving on to the confidentiality. Okay, so your privacy is very important to us. So whatever you tell here stays between us, and I'm not going to go around and tell people about your issues. So you don't have to worry about it. But there's exception to it. I will have to breach confidentiality if I feel like you're at risk of harming yourself and others, like children are being abused, sexually or physically abused, and someone in your family being sexually physically abused. I will have to tell the relevant authorities so they can take action. Same goes for the elderly if they are being neglected or abused. So I will tell the relevant people. So say your safety and the safety of the others are very important, and it comes first. So occasionally I may consult my supervisor about your case, but don't worry, I will not share everything and not go into details. So any discussion with my supervisor will be for the purpose of professional development and quality care. So your privacy will be protected. Okay, so if you're comfortable with all these terms, we can proceed, and I will let you sign the consent form. Okay, write the date over here. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask, because your understanding of comfort with this process are essential.
All right.
Have you been to counseling before?
Actually, this is my first time going for something like this, so I'm actually not sure what to expect. So I'm actually a little bit nervous.
So, okay, yeah, it's quite to feel a little bit nervous when, especially when you're trying counseling for the first time. We will look at working together and building a relationship so you feel more comfortable in sharing your concern with me. Okay, so what has brought you here today?
Well, I actually I kind of have a lot on my plate right now, but um, my grandmother has been taking care of me, and she's honestly like my mother now. But it's just that recently I've been very worried about her because she's been sick. So what more, I'm going through a lot right now with my studies and work, and I'm just worried about her well-being.
Okay, so I'm here to help you navigate your challenging situations you're facing right now. So can you please tell me in depth what you're actually experiencing?
Well, I've been worrying about not being spending time with her, considering she's getting older, and also I'm also facing stress for my studies and also my job, and I've been and I've been getting horrible sleep for the past 4 or 5 months. It's very low quality sleep. And honestly, I can see it is actually getting worse. So that's what brought me here today.
Okay, so it sounds like you're carrying a heavy load right now. It is completely understandable to feel overwhelmed. So I'm wondering, how long have you been dealing with all these situations?
Um, I think for about 4 or 5 months. Yeah.
Okay, so have you been so how have you been coping far with all these issues?
Well, for now, um, I guess the way I cope with my problems is that I usually take walks in the park during my breaks at work. It does help me a little bit, but not a lot. It's just like, I would say it's just like a drop in the ocean. And other than that, I go out with my friends, but even then, I feel like it doesn't really help much. Like, I'm kind of slowly losing interest in life. I'm not feeling joy anymore.
Okay, yeah, I do understand that it's very hard to seek support in such personal issues, but that's what we are here for, and that's what we are hoping we can do in with this session. Okay, so I just want to know. You told me you are facing issues in taking care of your grandmother, your work, and your studies. So I was thinking if we could prioritize one of those concerns. So what would be your biggest concern right now?
I think one of my biggest concerns is my grandmother's well being. It hurts me to see her being ill, and I hate that I can't do much for her. What more with the pressure that I have, with things that I have on my plate right now, with my studies and my job, I don't have enough time for her. And yeah, I'm doing all I can. And the worst part is that I'm the eldest sibling, so everybody relies on me.
Okay. Okay. So what we do is we focus in that area first. Your grandmother's being ill, so we focus on that, like how to manage it, and then we will look other areas in our later sessions. So we can start by working on your grandmother's illness first, like how to manage it. So does that sound okay to you?
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds okay.
Okay, great. So have you reached any support networks or organization that can assist with your grandmother's illness? Or also, have you considered discussing your situations with your employer or your professors? I think they might be a support. They can give you some support or accommodations.
Well, so far I did contact a local hospice organization for my grandmother, and I I think they've been pretty helpful so far to me. But it's just that, even though they're giving me that support, I still worry about her. Um, like I do feel worried if anything were to happen to her, I wouldn't know what to do. Um, and so far, I haven't told anything to my employer and my lecturer. I think that might be worth a shot. I think I'm gonna give it a try next time.
Okay. Okay, so it's great that you have sought support from the hospice organization. They can be a valuable resource. So it's important to remember that self-care is essential during such challenging times. Like if you're mentally and physically stable, you can take care of your loved ones. So just remember, self-care is very important and it comes first. So now let's talk about self-care. Like, have you been able to find any time for yourself lately, like any activities or moments that can bring a small sense of relief to your life?
Um, Honestly, not really. I think it's just those two things that I do. Like I take breaks and then I go out for walks at the park, or sometimes I see my friends. But even then, it's not really enjoyable anymore.
Okay, so that's still a positive step, Trish. Even small moments of self-care can make a huge difference. Okay, so do you have anything you would like to add in this session, like any other concern you have?
I think that's all. I think all in all, I'm just worried about my grandmother.
Okay. Okay. So what we can do is we can explore some strategies to help you manage your time and prioritize your task effectively. So in our next session. So does that sound helpful to you?
Yes, it does sound helpful to me.
So Trish, it's been working very great with you today. So remember, you don't have to face these challenges alone. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, don't hesitate to reach out so we can schedule another session.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much.
Okay, so of course, remember taking care of yourself is important. Don't forget to practice self care and reach out for support when you need it. Okay, take care, and I will see you in next session. Thank
All
you.
right, you're welcome. Have a nice